Hi, I'm Nicholeen Peck, and I have lost a lot of weight lately. I teach self-government, and that is one of the things that I use to help me lose weight. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about losing weight the self-government way. A year ago, I was 85 pounds heavier than I am right now. That's a lot. And for all the people that have been wondering on this channel, hey, Nicholeen, have you lost weight? Because people keep saying that in comments on videos. The answer is yes, obviously yes. In this video, I'm going to be talking about what I did to lose weight, how that relates to self-government, and some easy things that you can do if you want to lose weight the self-government way too. If you look back through the history of my videos, you will notice that I go through a transformation. The other day I was at church and a woman came up to me and she said, Nicholeen, what a great idea to have videos that are actually documenting your weight change. And I thought, well, I didn't plan that, but yeah, that kind of happened. So if you want to see a before picture, just go back to some of those old videos after you're done with this one and you'll be able to see what Nicholeen Peck used to look like. So I teach self-government. I teach parenting, family communication, relationship development through this lens of the principle of self-government. Now, a principle is something that is broad, which means it can be applied to anything or anyone. And that definitely applies to the principle of self-government. So I decided to apply self-government to myself and my eating and my own health and weight loss. And that's what I'm going to be talking about. First, let's talk about what self-government is so that we have a good understanding of the principle as a background. Self-government is being able to determine the cause and effect of any given situation and possessing a knowledge of your own behaviors so that you can control them. So what does that mean? That means that a person understands cause and effect, that they understand what they want versus what they are doing. The second part of that definition says that they possess a knowledge of their own behaviors so that they can control them. That means that they're in a constant state of self-analysis. As everyone knows, if you want to improve your health, your eating, your exercise routines, stuff like that, you do have to analyze what's happening and compare that to where you want to go. So self-government is going to be this big process that encompasses all of my health and nutrition as I'm trying to lose weight. I have celiac disease, which means that for years I have not eaten a lot of carbs or bread, stuff like that, because I couldn't have the gluten. But that didn't mean I was losing weight. In fact, I was a tomboy growing up, always exercising, doing as much as I could to keep myself fit. Every day with my children, we were out walking, running, playing sports, oftentimes for hours in the morning because I also homeschooled my children. And so as part of our homeschool, we would just do physical fitness. But that didn't mean that I was losing weight. Every once in a while, I might fluctuate down just a bit, but usually I would come right back up. And I didn't understand why this was happening, especially when I really was governing myself. I was setting schedules, I had goals, I was working toward them, but nothing was happening. Does that sound familiar? Many people go through this. There was a time about 10 years ago when I decided that I was going to really get dedicated and change my eating drastically. So even though I was eating gluten-free because of my celiac disease, I also started taking a supplement called Sunrider. And at this time it had cleansing drinks and nutritional drinks and stuff like that. And at that time, I did lose close to 30 pounds. Well, then our family got invited to go to England to teach, and we were going to be there for a whole month, going from location to location, teaching people about self-government and family bonding because our family starred in a BBC documentary called The World's Strictest Parents, and there was quite a buzz over there at the time. So anyway, we went over there. I was 30 pounds less than I was, feeling great. Like finally, this was the best success on any type of dieting regimen that I had ever been able to achieve. But I literally was eating next to nothing. It was like a little micronutrient drink in the morning, micronutrient drink in the afternoon, and then a few vegetables here and there for snacks, usually with no dressing or anything, and then a salad at night. And that's what I was having every single day to lose 30 pounds. And it took a lot of work. Plus, I was exercising sometimes up to 2 hours a day. So when people look at those chubby pictures of me, when you go back and look at those chubby videos, keep in mind I was working my guts out and nothing was happening. And so finally I said, what is the point of all of this? Especially because I went to England, we were staying with people, and I started eating normally, or what was normal to people in England, and all of a sudden, boom, I blew right back up again. So clearly whatever I had done was not going to work for the long term. And at that point I thought, well, I'm just going to keep eating out of my garden, my fresh organic produce that I grow all the time. I'm going to eat gluten-free, which means low carb, and I'm just going to hope for the best. And guess what? The best was I just kept gradually getting thicker and thicker and thicker. And I didn't know how to fix that. No amount of exercise was helping me, and I was trying to eat the healthiest that I could. All right, are you ready to hear what I finally did to lose the 85 pounds? Well, I'm gonna tell you that. But before I do, click that subscribe button. There are so many great videos on this channel that relate to self-government, controlling yourself, getting the results that you want in your relationships, and helping your children find self-government for themselves too. Click the subscribe button now. So let's talk about what I did then. So my husband came to me and he said, honey, we've got to do something. Do you want to do some DNA testing or something? Because I can see you're not happy. You're trying so hard. There has to be something else that you can do. Many people would get offended if their spouse came to them and said, how about we do something to help you with your weight? But he knew that I had been trying so hard for so many years, and he found out about some DNA testing that could help with someone who was trying to lose weight. So he signed me up for that. It was pretty expensive. In fact, I'm not sure if it would be 100% necessary for most people, but it was the start for me. So I went into this place and got some DNA testing done. And what they found out was that actually hormonally, I wasn't balanced properly. In fact, my liver was not behaving well with my hormones, and so it was making it so that I was just stuck, that my body would not regulate itself. So clearly something needed to happen. At that point, they recommended some liver supplements and a cleanse. Now, this cleanse was intense. In fact, as I was doing this cleanse that lasted for about a month and a half, I found myself going, if I can do this, I can do any eating thing ever, because it was so intense. It was like you only ate certain foods on certain days and you couldn't ever mix. Like a salad was literally just the lettuce, no dressing, no other vegetables. So basically just lettuce, and I couldn't mix it with anything else. It was really intense, super low calorie, maybe even a little too low calorie. That's why I'm not going to be giving the name of the place that suggested the cleanse. I don't know health-wise if that cleanse really should be something that everyone should do, but for me it worked. It got my body regulated, and all of a sudden my body started behaving normally, and it started losing weight quickly. Now obviously with the cleanse you're probably going to lose a little bit of weight anyway, but after I was done with the cleanse, I was able to do something that anyone can do, and it made a big difference for me. All right, so what's that thing that anybody can do? Well, it's right on your phone, and it's called MyFitnessPal. So I am not getting paid to say this for MyFitnessPal, but I've got to say this app is amazing. I know there's some other apps that might behave similarly, and so if you're like, I don't want MyFitnessPal, I want some other app, but it can do some of the same tricks, it's totally worth it. So one thing that the DNA testing did for me is it told me some things about my body. It told me which types of macronutrients I should eat for optimal health, meaning what percentage of macronutrients. MyFitnessPal is awesome because it helps you track your macronutrients. So for my body type and my DNA, I was told that I should be eating 40% protein, 30% carbs, and 30% fats. So those are your three macronutrients: fats, carbs, and proteins. And many people get those off. The usual Western diet has way too many fats and carbs and not enough protein. Vital proteins come from certain vegetables and certain meats, as well as some dairy products that many people find themselves not liking because they might be out of fashion or maybe have a little bit of a tartar flavor to them. But there's ways around that, and I have definitely figured that out. So I'll be sharing with you some of my favorite products, even though this is not what I usually do on this channel, but just in case you want to have a few of my hacks. But first, let's talk about this app and how you can get the most out of it. So let's talk about what I love about MyFitnessPal. So number one, like I said, tracks the macronutrients. That's huge. Number two, you can set goals for yourself. So you can set your calorie goals, and you can also have it set fat goals and stuff like that. You can put in your weight, and so that it will track your weight going down. But this is probably one of the best things I feel like, and that is that it syncs with your steps. So when you take steps and you have your phone with you, or maybe if you do a watch that tracks that kind of thing, then it will adjust how many calories you can have. So if I've had a really active day doing a lot of stepping around, or if I've done some major workout and I type in my workout that, oh yeah, I did, 30 minutes of, cycling or something like that, and then it will factor in extra calories that I can have that day if I want to, which is fantastic. Also, I like to cook, and when we're making our favorite recipe, let's say I'm making lasagna or some sort of stir fry, I don't exactly know what is in that recipe I'm making as far as the macronutrients. So instead of having to add in each individual ingredient every single time I make that, I can just type in my recipe. It will let you store your recipes, and as you type in the ingredients of your recipe one time, it will factor in per serving how many calories as well as what percentages of macronutrients that would be in your daily intake. It does the whole formula for you, and you can personalize it for the things that you really want to eat. I love it. It's like somebody finally figured out the magic sauce. Now here's the thing. In order to get all the functionality of MyFitnessPal, you do have to pay for the annual subscription. So you can get, I think, versions of it for free, but it doesn't have all the functionality. So while I went ahead and just paid the $79.95 or whatever it was for the whole year, and I just recommend it, especially if you cook and you're going to want to add in your own recipes and have it do those calculations for you. So do you want to hear some of my favorite products? I'm going to just share some of those with you. So I love Fage yogurt. This was something that in the time of my cleanse I found, and I realized this is like a magic food. So I've always loved Greek yogurt, but I wasn't eating the right Greek yogurt. The Greek yogurt I was eating was kind of laced with some sugar. It was fantastic, don't get me wrong, but Fage doesn't have any sugar. It's just your plain Greek yogurt, but there's different fat consistencies. So you can have 4%, 2%, 0%. I always keep 0% on hand. I use it for my sour cream. I use it to make dressings sometimes for salads or tacos because I'll mix it with salsa, that kind of thing. And then if I'm just craving something really sweet and I need more protein at the end of my day, I take 1 cup of that Faye yogurt and then I put some vanilla sweet drops stevia in it. There's no calories in that, and it tastes like I'm eating vanilla ice cream. I absolutely love it. I love Built Bars. Those are really fun too if you feel like you just need some sort of a chocolate treat. Of course, let's talk about chocolate. JoJo's chocolate is probably my favorite that I use all the time because JoJo's is the real stuff. It's good chocolate. They even have some that has no sugar in it, but it's a really healthy fat. So if I need a little bit more fat in my day and I want a treat, then I'm gonna have a little piece of JoJo's, which is really nice. So that's really fun. Also, something that I eat almost every single day is this chocolate cereal, and I don't eat it as cereal. I just eat like a half a cup of it just to snack on, something to crunch, and it's called Catalina Crunch. And there's different flavors besides chocolate. As you can see, I love chocolate, so I do eat probably something that's chocolate every single day. Anyway, but that is fantastic. Also, cauliflower is amazing. So anything made with cauliflower, I use riced cauliflower a lot. There's a lot of riced cauliflower you can get that goes into your freezer. There's also instant riced cauliflower for even more convenience if you're traveling or in a rush or something like that. So that's amazing. There's these things called outer aisle cauliflower thins, and they're like pancakes, kind of, or tortillas, or all of it together, which is amazing. And so I eat those on a regular basis. Put a little like huckleberry syrup that has no sugar, or even just some plain maple syrup, or like a little bit of my homemade jam from my apricots from my tree. So good. I make a lot of smoothies with my Faye and frozen fruits from my trees in my yard, so that's a lot of fun because I can just have water, Faye, some vanilla stevia, and some fruit from my tree. I've got an apricot smoothie that's going to be a protein load and no sugar. It's going to be amazing. So anyway, that's another thing that I do an awful lot of. Another big one that I love, which you can order online, just like you can order the outer aisle cauliflower thins online, you also can order Egg Life. Egg Life wraps are amazing. They have ones that are like cinnamon, everything bagel flavor, Southwest, Italian, and plain. They are like real tortillas, but they are pure egg white, which is awesome. So if you just have a skillet that you want to cook them in, you can just spray it with some coconut oil spray, which has 0 calories, or nothing, just have dry, like a dry skillet, and you just toast that in there until it bubbles up like a real tortilla. And I tell you what, that is the best for wraps. Put your sweet potatoes and your cauliflower in there, any kind of sauces, or any of your cheeses and meats and stuff like that you want to have as well. So there's some of my hacks. You guys, losing weight the self-government way means that I planned where I was going, what I wanted to get out of it, and then I had to stick to it. The MyFitnessPal app helped me so that I would track every single thing. And I was weighing myself every day, still do every day, probably will for the rest of my life, weigh myself every single day at the same time, every morning before I eat anything, so that I can track my progress and make plans for my next day. That's what it means to govern yourself. It means you make a plan, you plan your steps of how you're going to get there, and then you track it and you fix, and you track it and you fix. I wasn't tracking it as well as I should have been all those years that I was trying to lose weight. I was eating all the things that I thought were the right things, but I didn't have them in the right percentages. I also didn't have my body balanced, so once I got that worked out, I was able to just lose the weight. It just started falling off. And now I am almost to the size and to the weight that I was when I got married and when I was in high school. I feel so good. Just the other day, with a group of youth from my church who I actually head, I was playing volleyball, and I felt like I was back in high school again on my school volleyball team. I could do so many of the things that for years just did not feel the same, and were sometimes even things that would hurt me because I weighed more. Truly, losing the weight has been freedom for me, but the biggest freedom has come with knowing how my body works and tracking exactly what I'm putting putting into it to make sure that I get the formula that I need. So figure out the percentages of macronutrients that your body needs and make sure you judge your calories properly. Here's an extra little tip on calories, and that is that if you want to stay constantly losing calories, usually 1200 that's the lowest you'd want to go on your calories, but that's going to help you just start to lose. Women usually shouldn't eat any more than 1900 calories if they're going to want to stay in a weight loss pattern. Keep that in mind. I'm not the expert on men. I'm sure there's people that can comment galore on all this stuff. I don't know everything, but I know what's happened to me, and I know my life will never be the same. If you've enjoyed this video, I know that you will love the full class that I am offering for free here on this channel, which is called The Not So Known Secret for Parenting Success. Click on the link to that video now so that you can have improvement and self-government in your relationships as well.